On the news, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, deplores unregulated use of social media. People's Democratic Party crisis deepens as Wike accuses Atiku of discourtesy, says he wasn't consulted in selection process for Rivers campaign nominees. And Appeal Court reserves judgment in federal government stay of execution request that struck out the terrorism charges against IPOP leader Nnamdi Kanu. It's good to have you join us on News Now. I am Mary Kanu. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is advocating the urgent need for every person to be equipped with the ability to critically evaluate and wisely use information at their disposal. The Minister, who deplored the unregulated use of social media, made this known in Abuja on Monday while welcoming delegates to the 2022 UNESCO Global Media and Information Literacy Week. Speaking on the theme of this year's event, Nurturing Trust, a Media and Information Literacy Imperative, Mohammed said the world and its leaders must contend with the challenge of identifying what is true and what is false in view of the use of media and information. He expressed optimism that contributions at the parallel sessions of the event will be geared towards finding the linkages to build trust among societies and individuals through the use of social media.
As I ponder on the state of our world, the enormous challenges it faces, especially with unregulated use of social media and other digital platforms, I see the urgent need for every person to be equipped with the ability to critically evaluate and wisely use information at their disposal.
We don't want the new digital pipeline for the content, for the media and information. We don't want it to be harmful to societies and to individuals. How can we ensure that information remains a public good on the digital platforms? It's a big issue because it goes way beyond mis and disinformation. It's also hate speech online. It's also cyberbullying. It is also online harassment. And the list goes on and on and on. I'll give you another small piece of statistic from UNESCO Research and Studies. 73% of women journalists are subject to online harassment. Let me repeat, 73% of women journalists are subject to online harassment. And 20% of them end up being physically attacked. What starts online moves to the physical world. So I gave you a few statistics to say we cannot watch the world passing by passively. We have to take action. We have to do it now.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has reserved judgment in an application by the federal government seeking a stay of execution of a court's judgment that discharged Biafran Nation agitator Nnamdi Kanu of alleged terrorism and treason. Justice Haruna Samani, who presided over the hearing of the application, announced that a date for delivery of judgment would be communicated to all parties involved in the matter. In its argument, the federal government told the court that Nnamdi Kanu is a huge threat to national security and must be kept in detention for there to be relative peace. However, lead counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Mike Ozekome, in his argument informed the court that the federal government was in contempt of court by not obeying the October 13 judgment and as such has no moral and legal rights to make the request from the same court, insisting that releasing his client is a sure guarantee for peace.
Everywhere, the Igbos are happy and they are looking forward to this judgment that once Nnamdi Kanu is released, there will be peace in the southeast. 2023 elections will come very well. I thought, I do not know who advises this government. If I were their advisor, I would say, sir, Mr. President, let my people go. And with Nnamdi Kanu leaving prisons, don't forget any day they hold him further from 13th of October is illegal detention. We are already going to court with a fundamental rights enforcement matter. So it is releasing Nnamdi Kanu that will bring about peace and tranquility, not detaining him. And we have also argued that the court cannot stay the liberty of a citizen. So what is it that will bring peace? Releasing Nnamdi Kanu. The medical doctors with DSS, the federal government doctor, have no answer to Nnamdi Kanu's heart ailment. He suffers depleting potassium. All they will do at times, they come and increase dosage. They will lower the dosage. They are using Nnamdi Kanu, as we submitted today, as a guinea pig, without knowing what is wrong with him. Now, they have refused a second opinion from a specialist doctor, as Joseph Bintanyako ordered. Now, you should allow a specialist doctor to come in. All the applications we have made to the DSS or the SSS to allow Nnamdi Kanu, they have rejected them. But the specialist doctor's opinion, we were able to get it, and we have attached it also as an exhibit.
And Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, did not consult him before he picked members of his campaign council from the state. The governor, who spoke at the inauguration of a Rivers State PDP campaign council in Port Harcourt, the state capital, claimed Atiku selected enemies of Rivers into his campaign council for the 2023 general elections. Wike also explained that Atiku's photos and those of PDP National Chairman Iyorchia Ayu have been missing in PDP campaign materials in the state because they do not want him to campaign for the party at the national level. Wike has been having a running battle with Atiku and Ayu for months for insisting Northerners cannot occupy both positions. And the United Nations has emphasized the importance of peace and healthcare towards the achievement of lasting developments across the country. This is according to the country representative of the World Health Organization, Walter Mulumbo, during a health walk in Abuja to commemorate the United Nations' 77th anniversary, slated for October 24th, 2022. Speaking on behalf of the United Nations agencies, Mulumbo explained the need for stakeholders to prioritize healthcare as a veritable tool for fostering peace, stability and economic development. Our correspondent Emeka Amako files in this report from Abuja.
With an increasing number of public health emergencies and the lack of vital elements of life such as water and food, emerging armed conflict seem to be inevitable. Recent statistics show that over 1.5 billion people live in countries affected by violent conflict, while 59.5 million are currently forcibly displaced worldwide. 19.5 million of them are refugees, out of which half are children. Worried by the wave of violent conflict, insecurity or political repression, the United Nations is marking the 77th anniversary of its establishment with a health walk to call for a concerted effort towards overcoming poverty, insecurity and food crisis.
As you know, the United Nations is the highest policy advice body, so we interact with the highest level of the government to help them frame appropriate policy and support them into implementation. So we have a number of organizations that cut across all the areas, and we have understood, and I think many member states have understood, that without peace, without health, there is no development. Without stability, there is no development. Without transparency, there is no development. So, and our role is really to play, to interact at that interface and make sure that whoever is in charge understands the tenet of peace, security, health and development.
Members of the international community explained that the health walk and the sundry activities slated to commemorate the United Nations anniversary were all symbolic to show solidarity with Nigeria.
You know, I couldn't think of a better way to celebrate not just UN Day, that's being celebrated on October 24th, but to unite with my colleagues from the international community and our colleagues from the United Nations community walk in solidarity, and I think a very nice showing of the importance of cooperation within the international community.
Today, we will exercise the walking, and also you have already seen that the one finger, two finger, three finger, that kind of a physical exercise can unite us very easily. So today's event will show the solidarity. So it's much easier for us to have a concerted effort to overcome this kind of the very difficult issue.
Although estimating and counting the number of civilian casualties in modern warfare may be challenging, the shocking outcome of the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine and its effect on the global food crisis has re-echoed calls for fostering global peace.
Ahead of the 2023 general elections, humanitarians have urged relevant agencies and ministries of government to implement policies that will create a sustainable framework for electing competent leaders at the local, state and federal levels of government. Speaking at the sideline of the special convocation ceremony in Triune Biblical University Global Extension, Humanitarian Ambassador Oluwaseun Ajayi also urged influential Nigerians to use their affluence to serve and uplift the less privileged across the country. He added that Nigerians are still yearning for good leadership that is embedded with a transformational vision targeted at improving the quality of life and well-being of the people.
Since we have gotten to the humanitarian field now, it's called for us to do more to support humanity, know that we can't just get to a place without helping one another. And we are going to continue that, to strive more hard to support the government, exercise their rights, support one another, never use money never let money to motivate them. I think that's the major thing. So, and they should be able to just not to look at what they are going to gain now. Sometimes it's sacrifice. To be a humanitarian person, you need sacrifice. So let them sacrifice and gain the result later, and engage in skills that will definitely help the society.
It is a worthy thing that all human race, must make sure that they do good to their fellow human beings. I encourage all and sundry to have a good life, to have milk of kindness flowing from their heart.
The Lagos State chapter of the Society of Nigerian Artists is currently holding its 16th edition of the October Rain exhibition titled Ascension. The annual event, which has several visual artists exhibiting their artwork, started on the 16th of October and will last for a period of 14 days. The exhibition is dedicated to the celebration and appreciation of one of the oldest galleries in Lagos, My Dream Gallery. Our correspondent Abisola Adebayo tells us more in this next report.
From sculptural pieces, paintings and drawings to mixed media and usable arts, there are over 150 art pieces gracing the walls of this gallery. Some of these works of art from old and contemporary artists in Lagos are claimed to be from some of the best artists on the continent and beyond. They are exhibiting these artworks to celebrate the annual October Rain Festival, an initiative aimed at celebrating the creativity of Nigerian visual artists despite several challenges. The 2022 edition of the festival is also dedicated to the celebration of My Dream Gallery, one of the oldest galleries in the country that has exhibited several works of art over its 30 years of existence.
We want the nation to see the beauty of art. We want the nation to know that we have a voice which we speak using our work.
Without this outfit, artists won't have a place of showcasing their works. They are just like intermediary between the gallery, the buyer, the client, and the artist.
The theme of this year's exhibition is called Ascension, depicting the level and importance of art pieces in documenting the African society as it evolves. In view of this, artists churn out beautiful pieces to serve as relics of events and beliefs of the African tradition. Kolawole Olojokosoko is one of the visual artists whose painting is on display at this exhibition. His painting, titled Ancestry, is an illustration of the typical African environment where he grew up as a child.
I grew up in the village, and those forms that I saw while growing up are the things that inform what you are seeing here. Because when you enter the house of a real typical African man or African person, from the low stool to the high stool to the bed to the comb, everything in African society is art. So that is the reason why you see that work at my back is mixed media. You will find all kind of materials on that work.
The exhibition also serves as a bridge between old known artists who have carved a niche for themselves in the industry and the upcoming ones who are just learning the ropes. One of such upcoming artists is Eunice Akintayo. She says exhibiting alongside veterans in the industry is a dream come true.
This is my first time exhibiting with the SNA in my dream gallery, so I'm pretty much excited to be exhibiting with big artists today. I've been wanting to be an artist since I was very little. Since I was 4 years old or 3 years old, I was drawing. So I just pursued the passion, and then I'm excited that I didn't give up.
Impressed by the artworks on display, participants at the event commended the creativity of the members of the SNA.
I cannot even begin to tell you that they are extremely, I'm not saying this because I'm an artist, but they are amazing. They are beautiful, ranging from acrylic on canvas, sculptural works, both in metal and wooden sculptures. We have button on boards, we have thread on canvas, a whole lot. So, I mean, you'll be so amazed at the collection or the collage of artwork distributed in this gallery.
You can tell that the works here are good quality of artworks, and they really speak a lot. You can see from majority of the works here, you can tell like the artists really put all their energy and time into it.
The October Rain is an annual juried exhibition organized by the Lagos chapter of the Society of Nigerian Artists. The second phase of the exhibition will be displayed at the Adeline Gallery, where members whose artworks are not on display here will have a showcase of their art pieces. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 Lagos.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Rishi Sunak becomes UK Prime Minister. Details of the story and more right after this break. Welcome back. A recap now of some of our top stories tonight. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has deplored the unregulated use of social media across the globe while stressing the urgent need for every person to be equipped with the ability to critically evaluate and wisely use information at their disposal. The minister said this in Abuja on Monday while welcoming delegates to the 2022 UNESCO Global Media and Information Literacy Week. We also told you that the Court of Appeal in Abuja has reserved judgment in an application by the federal government seeking a stay of execution of a court judgment that discharged Biafra Nation agitator Nnamdi Kanu of alleged terrorism and treason. Justice Haruna Samani, who presided over the hearing of the application, announced that a date for delivery of judgment would be communicated to all parties involved in the matter. Well, in case you missed any of the news bulletins or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And now to COVID-19 stories and updates. The director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Rochelle Walensky, has tested positive for COVID-19 and is experiencing mild symptoms. In a statement, the CDC revealed that consistent with the agency's guidelines, Walensky is isolating at home and will participate in a planned meetings virtually. CDC senior staff and close contacts have been informed of a positive test and are taking appropriate action to monitor their health. The World Health Organization has emphasized the importance of staying vigilant as cases of COVID-19 and influenza rise in Europe, encouraging more people to get vaccinated as winter approaches. The WHO Europe Director Hans Kluge told a press conference that it is not the time to relax, with this new wave of COVID-19 deaths and admissions to intensive care not increasing to the same degree as earlier waves, and the WHO stressed the link to vaccination campaigns.
As we forecasted, an autumn surge has led to a tripling of regional cases since early September. In the second week of October, the European region accounted for almost 60% of new global cases and 42% of new global deaths. But this surge has not led so far to the previous levels of severe disease. Deaths and ICU admissions have only seen small increases, nor we have seen the crippling effects on the economic or social life. But this is not a time to relax. In the past month, we have also seen an early spike in seasonal influenza cases, leading now to increased positivity in patients hospitalized with severe acute respiratory infections. With COVID-19 and seasonal influenza co-circulating, the health of vulnerable people, including the elderly, the immunocompromised, pregnant women and newborns, is at great risk. So we must continue to do our utmost to prevent infections, protect the vulnerable, and prepare our health systems to manage multiple threats. Vaccination remains one of our most effective tools against both flu and COVID-19. And I urge everyone who is eligible to get their influenza vaccine and COVID-19 booster vaccine as soon as possible. Vaccines are safe and vaccines work.
We'll take a break here and return with business updates. To stay with us. Welcome back. Abisola Adebayo is standing by with business updates. Abisola, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mary. Welcome to Business News. The Nigeria Interbank Settlement System has revealed that bank customers in Nigeria transferred a total of 12.8 trillion naira over mobile devices between January and September 2022. The NIBSS data for mobile money transfers for the 9-month period indicates a surge in the use of mobile for financial transactions, as the value of deals through the channel has already surpassed the 8 trillion naira recorded in the full year of 2021. Year on year, the NIBSS data showed that the value of mobile transactions has grown by 153% in the 9 months of this year compared to the 5.06 trillion naira recorded in the same period last year. The Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria Lagos chapter has assured that its members have the capacity to bridge the gap in the housing deficit to the state. Chairman of Redan Bamidele Onolaja gave the assurance at the association's second edition of Stakeholder Summit in Lagos. Speaking to journalists, Onolaja said more than 18 to 20 million housing deficits had been recorded across Nigeria currently, owing to issues such as lack of access to funds by developers and inflation. He revealed that more collaboration from the government will help the association address the rising housing deficit in Lagos.
The law that established the agency mandates the agency to carry out tests, material testing, at every stage of any construction. That means it's not good enough that we just do your foundation or soil test for the foundation. As you progress, maybe you are going to 10-story building. Every time you will call us, for example, if you want to cast some of these structural elements like the beam, the column, the slab, so you call us to test your mixture to make sure it's good for that particular element. Then all the steel reinforcements that will be used, you call us or bring samples to the laboratory. We test the tensile strength to make sure it is of good quality and it is the right diameter.
Go to Dubai. We are learning when it comes to town high-rise. They do 100 high-rises, and you will not hear that those houses collapse. So I was taking a study as how do these people do it? They are agencies of government, work closely with those private developers. There are developers that are from government also in Dubai. So they work closely to make sure that those the regulations that the government gives, they don't go against it, they follow it properly, and anybody that doesn't do, they seal it up.
We've had a few incidents, and those incidents can happen in any climb, and but it's a good thing that developers today have actually come together to speak about the issues in the industry. But the developers actually play the most important role. So they are the engine room. They're the ones we need to talk to. They're the ones who are in charge of the buildings. They're the ones who are doing the marketing. They're the ones who are doing the sales. They actually are the engine room. So they're very, very important to the development of real estate in the state.
But we'll take a break now and return with a review of the stock market. Nigeria's equities market opened the new week on a positive note as investors booked about 35 billion naira gain at the close of trading on Monday, which is why the all-share index increased by 0.15% to close at 44,461 basis points. The record gain was caused by increase in share price of stocks like Red Star RX and Better Glass, leading our gainers counter today as we record a combined 2 naira 63 kobo increase at the close of trading. On the flip side, as our losers for today, Unilever and NEM Insurance led 12 other losers on the laggards table, recording a combined 1 naira 62 kobo loss. Meanwhile, our market summary sees 72 million units of shares valued at 2 billion naira exchanging hands in 2,887 deals. So apparently, the market defied analyst expectations of continuing bearish sentiment as investors take advantage of rising interest rates in the fixed income market. Anyways, this is actually good news. We can only hope that it continues like this till the end of the week. Moving on to the foreign scene, the FTSE, the Dow Jones and the Nikkei are all in the positive territory. Britain's main equity index closed higher on Monday as Rishi Sunak is set to become the next prime minister after other candidates quit the race, offering investors some relief after a stressful few weeks in British politics. US stocks also climbed on Monday as shrinking business activities lifted hopes of a less aggressive approach by the Federal Reserve, which is why it recorded a 1.21% at the close of trading. Japan stocks Nikkei is also in the positive, recording a 0.31% increase at the close of trading. That's all on stock market reports. Back to you, Mary, for the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks for the update, Abisola. Moving on now to the global scene, Rishi Sunak has been elected as the new leader of the Conservative Party and will now be named the UK Prime Minister. Sunak was announced as the new leader of the UK in a tweet on the Conservatives' Twitter handle on Monday. The former Chancellor of the Exchequer got the leadership of the Conservative Party after Penny Mordaunt failed to get enough backing from fellow members of the Parliament to enter the ballot. Sunak takes the position just days after Liz Truss bowed out after 45 days in office. The development makes Sunak UK's third Prime Minister in 2 months. And now in sports, Flamingos head coach Bankole Oluokere says getting to the semi-finals of the Under-17 Women's World Cup is not enough. Flamingos face Colombia in the semis on Wednesday following the South Americans' 3-0 win over Tanzania in the quarterfinals on Saturday. And the coach has assured Nigerians that the technical crew is working hard to ensure that the Flamingos get to the final. Flamingos captain Alvin Dazusu and Omamuso Edafe, who converted the penalty that fired the Flamingos to the last 4, have also assured Nigerians that the Flamingos will go all out against Colombia in their semi-final clash. Now that's the news this evening. Many thanks for staying with us. I am Nnamdi Kanu. Bye for now.